Welcome. I'm so glad to be back with you. Every story you're about to hear is real, terrifying, and sent in by listeners just like you. So, turn off the lights, wrap yourself in a blanket, grab some snacks. You're in for a night of true horror. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. It truly helps and inspires us to bring you even more chilling tales. Are you ready? Then settle in, because it's time for the long-awaited scary stories for a rainy evening. My name is Nora Blackwell, and if you're just tuning in, I'm the last sin eater. I've just dealt with the twisted embodiment of sloth, but now a far more urgent matter demands my attention. Someone has taken my friends hostage and is demanding a ransom. The wait in the elevator was excruciating. It always felt long, but had it ever been this long? I couldn't be sure. As each floor passed and more light filtered through the shaft's narrow window, my dread intensified. The air felt like it was filled with water, choking me with each rising level, my mind spiraling toward the worst-case scenarios. Eventually, the doors slammed open. I sprinted into the central control room, where a calm warden stood with his sleeves rolled up and hands stuffed in his pockets. "Oh, Miss Blackwell, thank you for coming so quickly. I was afraid you might have been held up." I rushed past him to look through the massive plexiglass window overlooking the chaos below. A massacre was unfolding in the enormous enclosure. Bodies impaled on spikes, torn open, gutted, teeth smashed, noses ripped off. Almost no signs of life among the sea of dismembered inmates, all except one. He sat at the far end of a grand round table, massive and grotesque. His thighs resembled tree trunks, arms were bloated bulges of muscle, and his barrel-like chest doubled the width of mine. A great beard hung to his navel. His belly rippled and gurgled as he devoured chunks of food, each bite accompanied by horrific sounds: lip smacking, slurping, gulping. Despite the thick glass, I could hear every nauseating chew and swallow. And then I saw his plate, blood smeared, a severed leg, half-eaten. He grunted in annoyance and pushed back from the table, walking toward a prisoner bound to a makeshift pike in the corner. Thankfully not yet impaled, just chained by the neck. "You've got 60 seconds to come down here," the giant said, his northern accented voice rumbling low. "Or I'll tear off a piece." His meaty hand reached for the man's leg. I recognized Nestor's defiant eyes staring at me, shaking his head. "Don't! He only wants you to—" "Ah!" Blood sprayed from his stomach as claws slashed in. Tearing out a pound of flesh, the monstrous man raised it to his gaping jaws and swallowed it whole. Blood dripped from his beard. "Time's ticking, love. Don't keep me waiting." I turned sharply and headed for the stairs. The warden jogged beside me, slipping a file into my hands. "Inmate number 5933, Silas Cray, former underground fight champion, drug trafficker, pusher of a compound known as Lethe, master manipulator. I advise against going in alone, Miss Blackwell. The risk is too high." To hell with the risks and the prison. He wants a personal interrogation. He'll get one. He needs to learn not to underestimate any of us. If this goes south, I'm counting on you, Warden. I gave him a sharp grin. I didn't make it this far by being pretty. I'll gut him if I have to. He swallowed and nodded. As we turned the corner, I noticed the guard on the far left tipping his hat. A salute? Maybe. But his hand had fewer fingers than it should have. Something was wrong. As he raised his head, his manic grin sent a chill down my spine, and a single number glowed on his hand. 3. Bam. The first thing that hit me was the smell of iron, blood, and guts so thick in the air it choked me. They thought good behavior meant I'd crave better perks, he said casually, still chewing. Even let me have a visit after 9 years. Guess their faces dropped when I started pulling limbs off people. Those poor bastards never had a chance. God rest them. Silas leaned back in his blood-stained seat. Come, sit. We've got things to discuss. At the far end of the room, I spotted Buck and Nestor, bloodied and bruised, but alive. That was enough. I sat opposite Silas, setting the file aside. You know who I am. I know who you are. Let's not waste time. I have a method, and you're no exception, Miss Blackwell. I ask the questions. If I like your answers, you can ask one in return. If not, he jerked a thumb toward my friends. I'll tear something off them. Literally. My hands trembled. I smiled nervously and nodded. No choice, all right, he said. Tell me about your childhood, Nora. The first 11 years were good, I answered. Simple. My mom worked hard but always made time for me. She baked, took me on walks, taught me to identify wildlife. But when I turned 12, everything changed. My lips tightened. The fights, slammed doors, teenage mood swings, memories that became final moments before my mom disappeared. One day she asked me to stay home while she went to work. She never came back. My grandparents raised me after that. Good, he said. Now your question. What made you this way? You were a bodybuilder, a family man. Then you started pushing lethe and tearing people apart? He grinned. His teeth were white, but tinged red. Autophagia, or Audie if you know her. I tore my ACL and MCL. Doctors said 18 months minimum recovery. That meant no progress, no power, no future. I overheard 2 idiots talking about a new steroid, lethe. Said it'd reset everything. I bought some, injected it. Boom. Everything changed. He stood up and began skipping rope with a pair of human spines. The rage became hunger. I met a guy in a supermarket parking lot at 4 a.m. Gave him my savings. That night, I saw her. Audie. He described her, muscular, monstrous, with jaws on her belly and tail. She offered him power, if he defeated 7 warriors and conquered her. So I started winning. Fought, dealt, grew stronger. The junkies couldn't pay. So I made them fight, sign waivers, to the death. If I won, I took what I wanted. Flesh, still warm, still bleeding, irresistible. I asked quietly, and one of those bodies brought your downfall? He grinned. No, mon chéri. Not your turn. What was written on that paper? I froze. How did he? He pulled out a black feather. A little bird told me. Watched over you. Came here to protect his dad. Got caught. I don't eat birds often, but I make exceptions. Tears welled in my eyes. Now answer me. All I could see was Edgar, snarky, rude, curled up in Nestor's arms, whispering, Dad, again and again. I couldn't break now. The high priestess's daughter brings the dawn, her absence the dusk, her offering as eternal service to guide the others. E dolore magna gloria. A golden mist swirled around Silas, wrapping his chest and limbs. The smell of sulfur stung my eyes. I asked, why did you insist this had to be face-to-face, Silas? He stepped toward me, hand outstretched. I braced for an attack, but he just placed his fingers gently on my face to prove I can always get what I want. He grabbed my throat, lifted me effortlessly. My vision swam. Are you afraid of me, Nora? He whispered. I couldn't answer, just kicked helplessly. He dropped me. I gasped for breath. One last question, Nora, and it better be the right one. I thought back to the file, the night he was caught. What happened the night they arrested you? They said you were skin and bones, convulsing from the drug. Must have become a monster in hereafter, right? He stood, his tone darkened. I started bringing trophies home. My wife suspected something. So one night, I cooked a family feast. They loved it. Said the meat was juicy. I was so happy. I told them what it was. His eyes dimmed. My wife passed out screaming, said I wasn't the man she married, said she was taking the kids. I couldn't touch her, not her, so I let her go upstairs, thought she'd calm down. He stopped pacing, his shoulders sagging, but I passed out from the lethe, saw Adi laughing at me in that other world. When I woke up, the garage was full of smoke. My wife and kids sat in the car, eyes open, dead. He held his nose to stop from sobbing. That night, I overdosed on lethe, offering nothing to Adi. She told me I'd wake with a new purpose, to kill the greatest warrior I ever faced, Nora Blackwell. And now, here we are. No more sins left. I'm your last stop. He came toward me. The golden mist blazed. Then an idea. You ate Edgar, didn't you? I said, whole bee, without a thought. Silas stopped. I warned you, no more questions. He turned toward Buck, but I burst out laughing. You fool, you think things you eat just vanish? Edgar was a creature of Lady Death. He's annoying, rude, and somehow family, and he's very, very hungry. I took a step forward. Silas turned pale, gripping his stomach. It bulged, writhed, gurgled. Edgar Allan Crow. The giant screamed, collapsed, groaning. I circled him like a lioness. Please, not like this, he whimpered, blood and bile dripping from his mouth. I grabbed his beard, lifted his face, and whispered, You know what a group of crows is called, Silas? I unsheathed a jagged blade and plunged it into his side, slicing it open. It's called a murder. The stench from his gut was foul as Edgar exploded out, covered in gore, screaming, Murder! Murder the fatty! Daddy's boy is back! He flew to Nestor, chirping gently. The mist surged, devouring Silas from the inside. His muscles shrank, his frame collapsed. Moments later, he was just a hollow skeleton. I returned to the table. A full English breakfast sat waiting, steak, beans, toast, eggs, real food, not human. I took a bite. The scream of a pig echoed through the room, wet and raw. I kept eating, slowly, purposefully. Silas crawled toward me, begging for scraps, for lethe. When he touched my thigh, I looked down. I need to see her again, he gasped. You see our sins, and we ascend with them. Please. His face was gaunt, beard patchy, teeth yellow. I bit into a sausage and let the juice splatter across his face. Your sin was so ravenous it ate itself. You ever wonder why you bloated so fast, then shrank? You're the Ouroboros, Silas. You feed on yourself. I turned to Edgar, who watched me, plotting. Breaking off a piece of egg, I tossed it into Silas's gaping wound. As expected, Edgar dove in, digging deep and causing unbearable pain. But after what Silas did to us, I didn't care. I'd grown, hardened. The warden watched. I made sure he saw I wasn't playing games anymore. Not after eating the last two sins. Everyone would know, don't mess with Nora Blackwell. As Silas's dying gasps mingled with the wails of devoured souls, I stood and whispered my final words before rescuing my friends. That which devours can lie forever, but even in eternity, you can die. Inmate number 5933, Silas Cray. Sin gluttony meal, full English breakfast, served with the screams of the devoured. Next, sin wrath. You're still here. Or has fear already taken you away? If you haven't yet, leave a like and subscribe. Your support breathes life into the darkest stories. I hope we'll meet again soon. Next time, even darker and more terrifying secrets await you. Come back soon while I prepare new nightmares that will haunt your sleep.